Welcome in everybody for week 5 in the waiver wire. It's me, Joey P. Joe P. Zapia, back with some names that can help you. We've got some youngsters on the rise. We've got some starting pitchers, some relief help. We've got a little bit of everything today. Before we get to all that stuff, I want to remind you, if you drop your comments below and subscribe to FantasyPros MLB, we are going to give you this. That's right, it is an incredible Trophy Smack Ultimate Fantasy Baseball Championship belt, and we're giving it away to one of our watchers on YouTube, so make that person be you. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications till it goes ding, so you know every time a piece of content drops here on the channel, and if you are the big winner. But most importantly, comment below, tell me who you are picking up in week 5 in Major League Baseball. So without further ado, let's get to the names on my list for week 5 on the waiver wire, and away we go. Now, if you watched the video a couple weeks ago, I told you to pick up Heston Kjerstad, but now I'm screaming at you, pick up Heston Kjerstad from the Baltimore Orioles. Right now, he is rostered in roughly half of leagues. So, Kjerstad's done nothing but rake at the AAA level this year. He reminds me of Will Clark with more power if you're looking for a comp. Yeah, maybe a comp of somebody who grew up in the 80s. He's hitting .349 with a .431, .744 / 10 homers in 21 games of AAA. With the Austin Hayes injury, Kjerstad got a call. Now, he might be in a bit of a platoon for the foreseeable weeks, but the one thing is clear. No matter what happens, you have to have Heston Kjerstad on a roster right now because you just don't know if he can continue that sort of pace or if the Orioles decide to have a long leash with him and just keep him up there even after certain guys get healthy on this team. Kjerstad is one of many Orioles prospects that are in this pipeline. Some have hit right away, some have taken a little bit longer, and some we're waiting on. I'm looking at you, Jackson Holiday, but regardless, Heston Kjerstad is too good of a power hitter not to have rostered, so add him to your league as soon as possible. Next on our list is another minor leaguer, Joey LowPeredo of the Houston Astros, first baseman. With Jose Abreu hitting .065, no, I'm not making that up, that's what he's hitting. He's probably not long for the Houston Astros. The guy's in his late 30s, and he could get designated for assignment any day now, potentially. That would open the door for Joey LowPeredo. So despite the fact that Joey Low is hitting .259, he's also got a .361 OBP, a .667 slugging, and a .1028 OPS, not to mention 10 homers and 24 RBI down on the farm. This guy does strike out a bit, but you take the strikeouts as long as you're getting the homers, and at some point they're going to have to make some hard decisions in Houston, so be ahead of the curve with LowPeredo, and if you don't need him, stash him anyway, and try to trade him to someone who does, and reap the rewards in case he does turn out to be a strikeout machine at the major league level. But regardless, he is an asset you need to pay attention to, and add now if you can. If you're looking for more of a sure thing at first base, I give you Nate Lowe, first baseman of the Texas Rangers, rostered in 63% of leagues. Now, why is this such a low number for Nathan? Kill me. It's because he started off the year injured, so a lot of people had to drop him or just ignored him in drafts altogether, and that was just not a smart move at the end of the day. Lowe is a nice source of power and a decent batting average, hitting in a very good Texas Rangers lineup, and he's coming off a very good season last year. In fact, it was such a solid season that I feel pretty good about him going for potentially even 25 to 30 home runs in 2024 as well. If you look at last year's track record for Nathaniel Lowe, it was pretty darn decent. Yes, I did just say darn. 17 homers, 82 RBI. He walked 93 times. He had a .360 OBP. Now, you'd like the slugging to take a leap forward, but I think over time it just might. He's entering his prime at age 28, and again, he's in a good lineup. So snatch up Nate Lowe when you can on the down low. All right, enough of the puns. I'm done. Let's head to the bullpen for our next pickup. Hector Neris, relief pitcher of the Chicago Cubs, rostered in about 30% of leagues. With Adalbert Alzolay getting a rough start to the season under his belt, it seems like the Cubs are ready to pivot and pivot quickly to Hector Neris, who does have experience in the role, especially for the Phillies. Neris so far this year is pitching in 7 innings. He does have 7 strikeouts, but also 7 walks, so he is not an immediate long-term fix either. But if you're desperate for saves in the short term, Neris could potentially hang on to this job longer than you think, as there's been no commitment to really anybody yet on the Cubs managerial side. So if Neris gets off a few good outings, he might just hang on to the job potentially all year, or at least till the trade deadline where the Cubs can upgrade. But when you're searching for saves in Roto leagues, Neris could be that next guy up who could be a short-term fix with potentially a longer-term solution looming for the Chicago Cubs and your relief spot. Coming in next on our list is a starting pitcher. It's young Mitchell Parker of the Washington Nationals, rostered in about 30% of leagues currently. Now, Mitchell Parker has gotten off to a good start for the big club, and you love to see it. 2 starts, 2 wins, 12 innings, 7 hits, 12 strikeouts, but 0 walks. Now, that's been the problem for Mitchell Parker in the past. High walk rates have led to high whip rates, and that has led to Mitchell Parker dropping his stock a little bit in the scouting dynasty community. However, if you look at what he's done so far, as long as that walk rate, again, it's not going to remain at 0, but remains low, Mitchell Parker does have room for success. He does have strikeout ability, and so far he has not looked overmatched at the major league level. So you might take it on a start-by-start basis or look for 2 start weeks. Just choose your spots carefully for Mitchell Parker. 1 good start could have been a fluke. 2 is a trend. Let's jump on that trend and see how long we can roll with it. And again, it doesn't mean you have to roster him all year. He could become trade bait later in the season or even later in this month if you can flip him and get something back in a package for something better that you feel more warm and fuzzy about. And lastly, starting pitcher Bryce Elder of the Atlanta Braves, rostered in about 35% of leagues. Now, last year, Bryce Elder was a win machine because the Braves gave him a ton of run support and great defense, and last time I checked, the Braves are still going to give him all that. So although he's underwhelming when it comes to strikeouts, and he's not exactly a dominating presence on the mound, especially in the strikeout department, that's always going to be under the 9K per 9 that we're looking for out of our starting pitcher. Elder right now has a job in this rotation and doesn't look to give it up anytime soon, not to mention the fact that Bryce Elder is probably going to show some durability again. One could argue the best ability in 2024 has been availability, and Bryce Elder can at least be durable enough to take the ball every 5th day, and he's always going to give the Atlanta Braves at least a shot to win the ball game. So don't look for peripherals off the charts, but if you're looking for a 2-start arm on a good team, Bryce Elder could be a patchwork guy if you just had Blake Snell go on the IL or somebody else go on the IL because, well, pitchers go on the IL. It's 2024, and that's what happens. All right, there you have it, everybody. Those are my names for Week 5. But again, drop your names, tell me who you are in on, and subscribe to FantasyPros MLB so I can give you that championship belt from Trophy Smack. It's glorious. It's fantastic. And I want you to have it. In fact, I might even come to your house to deliver it if that's okay, but I promise I won't stay for dinner unless you ask me, and it's around 6 o'clock because Joey does get hungry around 6 o'clock. So go feed this week on some of these names, add them to your MLB fantasy rosters, and join us next week for more MLB content on FantasyPros MLB. That'll do it for me, Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.